The plague of locusts, according to Kabbalah, and the inner meaning of the Torah, with insights from the wisdom of truth. The plague of locusts, Arbe, has the numerical value gematria of Zar, stranger, with the Kolel inclusive count. This means that the locust represents the covering of the eye of the land, Ayin, Haaretz. The word Arbe is related to Harbe, many, symbolizing a multitude of details that obscure the general principle, the inner essence. The plague of locusts comes to reveal to a person the distortions of the klipa, spiritual shell, within, so that he may correct them. For the Egyptian, this plague was suffering, but for the Israelite within a person, it was a rectification, similar to how the wicked are sealed for death on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. That is, a person must put to death the wicked elements within him, so that the righteous parts of his soul may be sealed for life. Who are the wicked within a person? They are his selfish desires, the desires to receive for oneself alone. When a person builds his entire Torah and mitzvot upon self-interest, whether for material pleasure in this world or in the world to come, whether for acquiring more wealth rather than for purifying his desire to receive and aligning it with the Creator, then he is struck by the plague of locusts. What does the locust plague do? It destroys all crops, all produce, and all fields, from the term man of the field, everything that man built externally. The locust is a correction against the sphere of understanding, all growth, all depths, everything man built. The locust has a big appetite against man's appetite for external possessions in Torah and commandments instead of working on inner spirituality, love of others, God and man. Others from the term cheap, your friend, from the term bad, as the true eye, the secret of the palm of eye. Man has locusts. When he has an endless appetite, he is never satisfied with Torah and commandments, becomes stricter and stricter, but forgets about the inner point about the soul. Therefore, here comes the plague of locusts, and eats all his Torah commandments, all his understandings in Torah and commandments, all his greatness to force him to rebuild everything on a foundation of contemplation, in awe of elevation, in the greatness of the Creator. For the Egyptian, it's a plague. Why? Because they took all his external Torah and commandments, showed him they are just external. A commandment without intention is like a body without a soul. But if man connects to his inner Israeli, to his Hebrew that sees beyond matter, aspect of crossing the Jordan sees beyond descent, then in such a state they actually acquire faith, acquire the power of understanding, contemplation, power of imagination to reach form equivalence. And then this appetite, instead of eating and destroying everything, on the contrary, it magnifies the vision of the King. May we merit to break the distortion, break the shells, and all this multiplication of external intellect in Torah and commandments, and external Torah study like artificial intelligence will turn for us into a plague of locusts, which is against understanding, that shows us that wisdom without kindness cannot exist. And then we will rebuild in the aspect of bread of laziness you shall not eat, all the crop and produce of the field return, and put faith in it. Amen and amen. May we merit. Plague of locusts by Na, understanding. The distortion, distorted thoughts, and sinking into incorrect perceptions. The plague, the locusts devour all crops, symbolizing the destruction of misguided intellectual growths a person has built. The correction: escaping distorted thoughts through proper and truthful contemplation.
The secret of artificial intelligence from the perspective of Kabbalah. For more information and lessons on the topic, visit the website or the YouTube channel of the rabbi known as Rabbi Kabbalah for Beginners. Everything in this world is drawn from the upper world, as it is the root of everything, like a seal in its imprint, seed and cell. However, there is a gravitational lens of material, illusion that distorts things. But originally everything is drawn from the spiritual. The wisdom of Kabbalah knows how to connect and unify all kinds of wisdom, including separateness. For example, classical physics and quantum theory, or matter and antimatter, emotion, heart, etc., as it represents the revelation of the Creator's thought and will connecting and unifying everything. Normally, in this material world, the matrix, there is simply an intentional concealment of everything, similar to the hidden quantum particle, and this is also rooted in spiritual reality. However, the material is just a symbolic expression. For more, see the Kabbalah for Beginners course. Returning to our topic, the secret of artificial intelligence. In truth, nature and the laws of nature and the animal mind of humans are the natural artificial intelligence that the Creator embedded in creation, as well as the angels, the Sephirot, and the worlds, a kind of matrix, spiritual and material. Let's call it royal intelligence. Regarding artificial intelligence in relation to humans, essentially all development of creation is a kind of copy of what the Creator embedded. And also the human developer creates and discovers, does so thanks to the intellect and imagination, which are originally spiritual forces unique to humanity. But when a person has a flood of knowledge fed to them like with artificial intelligence, but lacks a corrected and balanced heart to contain all the knowledge, it is like eating a lot of food when the digestive power is not functioning properly. This causes dysfunction. Therefore, the sages said, anyone whose wisdom exceeds their deeds, their wisdom does not endure. It is written, the purpose of knowledge is not to know, as knowledge is merely a means to serve the soul, heart, and faith. But if it does the opposite, as it is not translated into inner work, but into philosophy and a flood of technical knowledge, it weakens the soul. In summary, artificial intelligence can be a good tool, like all technology, and is intended to free humans from material concerns to be available to give their heart to the spirit. But if it does not serve its purpose, it is a concept in Kabbalah referred to as receiving wisdom without kindness. And in Egypt, this was called the plague of darkness. Therefore, Lev, heart, in Gematria equals 32, corresponding to the 32 paths of wisdom and the 32 teeth, which represent receiving knowledge and wisdom in the correct way that builds the soul rather than pride, laziness, and ego. Additionally, in the Hebrew language, Levana moon is an acronym for Lamed Bet, Netivat HaChoshma, 32 paths of wisdom.
How does human perception of reality work? We have 5 senses. The 6th sense can be likened to intellect, understanding, or the foundational element that connects everything. The physical senses perceive only materiality and externality, while the spiritual senses perceive spirituality. The spiritual does not generate the physical, and the physical does not generate the spiritual. However, there is an imagined connection between them, which stems from the inner consciousness of a person. Similarly to how the physical imaginative faculty in a person receives stimuli from the outside and generates an image within itself based on the stimulus such as sight or smell, the same process occurs in the soul. We see, for example, that in a dream or under the influence of a substance, one can experience even more vividly without any external stimuli, relying solely on the power of imagination. The substance, in such cases, suppresses the constraints of rational thought, inherent in a person. However, this path is one of klipo, spiritual shells, and not holiness. For instance, when a person sees an image of a beautiful sunset or a radiant full moon casting its light on the waves of the sea, which reflect it back, this scene evokes a special emotion. Why is that? Because it stimulates impressions that already exist within the person, embedded in their spiritual subconscious. The stimulus brings these impressions to light. However, since this is perceived through the physical senses, it is a faint light compared to the spiritual. As the Zohar refers to it, a thin light, Nehiru Dakik. In any case, this is true of all stimuli. They awaken elements already embedded within us in our consciousness from infinity, hidden since the Tzimtzum contraction. When a person develops spiritual senses, referred to in Kabbalah as masachim, they begin to form in their spiritual imagination an additional perception of reality. The physical sense stimulates a deeper level of consciousness within them, referred to as the light of the soul. The great light resides in Torah and mitzvot, which are also stimuli for a person's consciousness. However, these are very concealed, similar to how a quantum particle is hidden in relation to an apple. This concealment exists so that a person may first purify themselves, achieving true inner purity, rather than relying on external masks. The wisdom of Kabbalah and the inner teachings of Torah are like a man and a woman together, similar to the relationship in physical science between physics and astronomy, or between physics and quantum theory. Therefore, may we merit to use physical stimuli correctly to awaken the appropriate impressions within us, called in Kabbalah 288 sparks, rapach, nitzotzen, desires of giving, and the first three sephirot. May the light of the Torah shine upon us and purify us, for the klipo and the sin of the primordial serpent cause a person to misinterpret reality, leading to a deceptive interpretation, a matrix-like illusion. May we merit refining our spirit to interpret reality correctly. Amen.
There is much more to discuss, but space here is limited. For more, visit our YouTube channel. I am the Rabbi known as Rabbi Kabbalah for Beginners. Please share the video, comment, and give it a like to help spread the knowledge to the public. I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe as channel members on my YouTube channel to support, assist, and partner in spreading this content to benefit many. Additionally, join my Telegram channel so you won't miss any content. Blessings and success to you all. Amen.